So I'm going to bring up access and show you a couple more things that you can do. Okay, so I'm going to bring it up, then we can off the lights and see if we get any better visibility. Oh, we never took, did we take a break? Yeah, we took a break.
What break? Was that today?
That was a little slow. A little slow. Okay, so let's see if we get some better video. Okay.
Excuse me.
I usually do. Okay, so this is where we're at right now. We've got 3 tables out there, courses, enrollments, and students, and we have formed them into proper relationships, and we have created a form for each one of them, an entry form. Okay. And the next thing that we want to do is ask the question, what in the world did we make the database for? All we've got so far is input, and we didn't make the database just to put stuff into it, true?
Yeah,
We made the database to get stuff out of it. So the first and simplest, most fundamental thing that we want to get out of it is a simple report. So each one of these 3 tables can be fed into a simple report. Now, when that report is finished, it will be soft, it'll be on the screen. If you want to direct it to a printer, then you press another button that says send to printer. So let's go about making a report for each one of our 3 tables. So what we're going to do is create, and we're going to create a report. And there are certain things in Microsoft Access that are very advantageous to use the wizard for, certain things that are disadvantageous. This is another one that works very, very well with the wizard. So I'm going to create a report with the wizard. Now it first asks me, what is the input to the report? And what are the 2 choices it gives you, tables or what?
Queries.
It's right here, queries. Now you can also input the results of a query to a report, but that involves the creation of a query, which we haven't addressed yet. So we're going to temporarily just ignore that. And we're going to create a table into the report, and this is a list of possibilities. So which one should we do first? Courses, enrollments, or students? So let's do the students first. So the next question is, which fields in the students table do you want to appear in the report?
Eye color and GPA. Name.
So we want the eye color, so we move it over. And what was the other request? Okay. Now we want last name. Now often you don't actually want student ID in some reports, depending on what they're going to be used for. For example, if you're sending them to a newspaper journalist who's going to do an article, then he would not be interested in those. So just to make things simple, let's move all the fields over. So I double arrow selected all of them. And we go to the next. And now we want to add any grouping levels. A grouping level is, for example, when we print or when we report all the people with blue eyes, do we want to group them by eye color, and then when we end up with blue eyes, we sort of show how many we found, like 8 people with blue eyes. Then we do brown eyes and we say 3 people. So we can group them, and then we can give group reports. How many did we find in that particular group? So you can do that. There's no particular need to do that. And so we'll continue to the next screen. Now, you can sort records in up to 4 fields. So, what is the major field that we want to sort on? The
GPA.
major field we want to sort on is?
GPA.
Name. Oh, usually we want name. Now, do we want last name or first name?
Last name.
Last name is the major sort, and if 2 students have the same last name, then we resolve that by doing different first names, okay? And, now this is ascending, means we start with A and go through Z. You can also go backwards, start with Z and go through A, okay? So we wanna sort it on name, and we go to next. And now, do you want to, show the data in columns, in, tabular,
What's justified?
or justified?
Tabular?
Column, no, tabular looks good. I don't know what's going on there.
Seems like they break in different places. Okay, what you're gonna have to do is play around and see which one looks best in your reports. It's not clear to me what the fine points of the difference are. But I'm pretty clear on what portrait and landscape means. I usually choose landscape because we usually have more fields than print comfortably on a column, on a portrait selection. Not always. Adjust the left field width so that all fields fit on a page. That means some of your fields are gonna be truncated, okay? Some of your fields are gonna be truncated, not all the information's gonna be shown. You're gonna get some fields shortened if you want all the fields to fit on the page. But let's just take that for openers, because you have a great ability to modify the report. Now, what, title do you want for your report? And I'm just gonna say students list. Or you can say anything that you want. Now, do you wanna preview the report? Or do you wanna modify the report's design? We can always modify it later. So for right now, I'm just going to preview it, and I finish. And the Wizard does absolutely all of the work for you, and this is what it gives you. Very nice report. With absolutely nothing done by yourself. So you see it's listed on last name, first name, and we can scroll to the right and see more. And it has GPA, and we have dent ID GPA, so apparently I have to clean up the data file a little, and data file. Now, this might be nice, except that you might want to customize it a little bit. So what do you do if you want to customize it a little bit? Then we close this, close, and now we go to students list, and we go to view. So on the view, we go to design view or layout view, because we want to modify it. Okay, this is design view. Now you can tweak it almost any way you want. You can put black background pictures in each one of these sections. You can put background colors in each one of these sections. You can take this field called last name, and you can make it shorter. You can take this field called first name, and you can move it over here. And you can put headers and footers in it. Here's a report footer. You can put something in the report footer. Here's a report header. Put something up there too. And you can actually do calculations as well. So when you go to design, you can take the basic report that the report wizard gave you, and you can customize it to your heart's content. Okay, so now we want to save that changes that we made, and now we go to the view, and we see what it looks like with these changes. Okay, not significantly different. See, I changed the location of first name as far as the title goes, but I didn't change the location of first name as far as the data goes. So that was an incomplete change. So here we have the data, the header, but I have to change the data locations so they're congruent with the header locations, true? What I must have. So now we save that, and now we go to report view, and now you see the names are under the headings. So just to emphasize that, you've got several rows here. This row is the page headings. You can customize that. This is a detail line. You can customize a detail line.
Is this where you would fix your dent issue?
No, I fixed that in the database. So let's go to the database, the table. Something in the table, design view got mistyped.
Oh,
No, I don't see it here.
I think it was your reports that was making it shorter,
He said it was truncated.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
truncated
'cause it-
thing?
cause it cut off the STU and just had dents.
Ah,
Dense GPA.
I right justified it. Okay, got you. Good call. So it is often problematical fitting everything on the page. And you have to count squares and make decisions.
Good call.
Was that just a sleep sound?
I agree.
I could go either way.
I'm fine, I figured it out. Thank you.
Just give me that time. Okay, so we're gonna make some more reports. So create a report wizard, and the next report that we're going to make is courses. So we're just gonna follow the wizard all the way through. We're gonna put all the fields over there, and go to next. And we're not gonna sort it in any way whatsoever. Let's sort it by course name. No grouping levels, but we will sort by course name. And next. Now you could sort by professor, in which case you would get a list by professor of the courses they were teaching. It would be a quick way to do that. So you can get, this is courses one in the course list. So you want course by professor, then you make another report, you call it courses by professor. And it's a very simple one. So the third one that we want to create is, we want to save this, close it, and go back to create, and we create another report wizard. And this one is going to be the enrollments table. Okay. So put all the fields over and go to next. And next. No order needed on this. And actually on the enrollments table, we might want to group them by we can either group them by course or group them by student. For example, if you wanted to print out a class roster, then you would group them by what?
Course.
Course. If you wanted to print out a student's schedule, group them by student, agreed? So you can get a variety of reports out. This is a step layout, I have no idea what we're doing. Okay, so we have enrollments out there also. So what I need you to do, for second class next week is to also have these three basic reports for next Wednesday. Now, you create the database basically to handle queries. A user of the database queries the database. How many of my salesmen, give me the names of my salesmen that sold more than $50,000 in Chicago February last year. Database gives you the answer. That's a query, and the database answers the query. That's the main reason for the creation of a database. Besides making these static reports, which you can make from flat files quite well, is to produce the answers to queries. So what we're going to do is learn how to make a query into the database. So we're going to create, let's close everything so we don't get those nasty messages. All messages are nasty. And we're going to create. And this is the one time you do not use the query wizard, unless you're really masochistic. You create your query by design. Now, I want to address a query. So we need to answer a question. For example, one query could be, give me the students with GPA greater than 3. Give me the students. So in order to answer that, do I need the courses table?
No.
The enrollments table? Only the students table, agreed?
Yeah.
So I select the students table. Close. Now, down on the bottom is the items that you select, for which you want to have them appear in the output of the query. The query will produce an output file. And these are the fields that you want to be in the output file. So I want student ID to be in the output file, so I click on it and drag it down to the first field. And student ID comes. I want the last name to be there, and their first name. And the only other thing I'm really interested in is their GPA. So I've selected the fields I want to be in my output file. Now I need some criteria. And the criteria is going to be here, that it's going to be greater than 3.0. So I have greater than 3.0. And now it will select only those students that have a GPA greater than 3.0 and include them in the output file. So when I click on run up here, then it will produce the output file. And as we see, unfortunately, we don't have any such students. But this query I can save. So I save this query with a query name. And the query name that I'm going to save it as is students GPA greater 3. So this is the query name. I've saved it. So now under queries I have it. Now I can run the query anytime I want and get the output file. And you can go in and modify the query by going into the design. So here's the query. You can go to design view and modify it for any other criteria that you want. But let's go to students now and get a GPA that is what we want. So let's change this guy to a 3. Who is this?
It's no one.
That's a new one. So let's change Green, Jeff Green. How would you like to have a 3.5 GPO?
I'm good enough.
What's your current? Never mind. Okay. So I rounded it up to 3, which bothers me. So we'll have to look at the reason it rounded it up to 3, but we'll fix that. Not good enough, like he says. Let's give him a 4. Okay. So the 4 is in place. So now if we save this table, and close it so it can be run, and now this has been finished. So let's close it, and let's just run the query. So we run the query, and lo and behold, it selects those records that pass the criteria. Now, you can feed the results of a query into a report. So let's go back and create another report, feeding this query in. So let's report with the report wizard. And now what we're gonna do is select, we're gonna feed in this, the results of this query. So the output file that's created from the query only has temporary existence. You can look at it on the screen as we just did, and when you close the screen, that file is dissolved, it's not saved. Or you can print it in a report, as we're about to do now, and then you can hard copy the report. But the results of query files are only temporary. You see them on the screen, or you put them into a report, and then they're gone. Okay, so here, we have created a report, and now this is soft copy. Under File, you can either print the thing, or you can do a right click here. Oops. We have design view, so let's go to report view. And now we do a right click, we might be able to print this. Print preview, okay? So we can print this thing, but I don't have a printer, unfortunately. So we can print the results of any query. So what I want you to do also for next Wednesday is to produce at least 2 queries. Now, the query that I made for you right now is very simplistic. I only use one file and one criteria. But you did not link these tables together under relationships just to produce reports and queries with one file at a time. You link them together to produce reports out of more than one file. So that's what we're going to explore on Monday, where we go into queries that will use more than one file. So let's review what we did tonight. We showed you how to make reports off of a master file, a static file. Then we showed you how to make a query where we just use one file as input, and we put in only one criteria, although you can put in more, and we selected fields from the static table that we wanted to go through the query, and then we looked at the query as an output file, and then we fed that query into a report as well. So that's the ground that we've covered tonight. So to review, for Monday we need you to come in with your 3 tables, designed with relationships, and forms for your 3 tables. On Wednesday we need you to come in with 3 reports on your 3 tables, and with at least 2 queries also. Okay, so yes, sir.
Will we be handing these in, or will we be demonstrating for you on
What we'll be doing is the same thing that I indicated last week that we would be doing.
the, okay, and that was?
I forgot,
Alright,
but what was it that we agreed to do with these? Does anyone want to
I
remind
think it's the
both
first
of
time
us?
I've heard of these, Jeff, I never heard of those before.
Well, I don't know what else you're
Report
doing in
wizards
class.
and
I don't know
queries.
what else. Well, in other words, what you're gonna do with all of this
Alright,
is you're going to do what with it? Anybody?
Put it on the board.
Put it on the board, show it to your classmates. You're gonna bring it in and show and tell.
We just learned about the
yeah, I know.
reports and queries.
Yeah, I know, yeah, thank you.
Okay, maybe I misinterpreted your question. All of this stuff, as you go along, Monday and Wednesday, bring in what you've got to date and put it up on the screen like this and get feedback from your classmates and maybe from me. Now, when everything is completed, about 2 weeks from now, you'll bring it in one last time and put it up on the boards, and at that time I will grade you. So I think I might have misinterpreted your question. Yes, each new thing, what you do is you bring it in for peer review.
Thank you.
And there's no other communication. Please don't email me your files or send me your printed reports. Everything's done in class. So I might have not gotten, you wanted to report on the updates. Okay, so, please do chapter 5, 10 questions, also for Monday. We have workshop tomorrow, and, we're good to go. Okay, out of here.
You're welcome to.
Don't hate me.
Oh, I'm fine. I know you.
That's why I had to say that. Chuck, are you be able to come tomorrow?
Yes,
Ah,
I
good
should.
news. Okay,
I have to.
okay.
So,
But don't let me see you walking down the street.
That's easy to do.
I need to do this application.
Give us get that. Those are your
Uncle
good.
D. I don't wanna know. I
You just-
don't wanna
Just said
know.
be careful, go ahead, slowly.
That's right, that's
It's
the
kind of-
alarm call. That's the one I
I think he
learned.
doesn't realize that in Japanese it's kind of more polite, but I think he was just trying to intimidate you. Like, be careful. Mentioning the street comment.
Yeah, people
Like,
that
be
warn
careful.
you,
Be careful, tread lightly.
people that warn you aren't dangerous. Go.
I have a question
Yeah.
about the secondary table.
Secondary,
Secondary table.
do what?
What is the secondary table?
Not a secondary table, but secondary, columns, secondary attributes. Okay, now, in any one of your table, do you have customer table?
Yes.
Okay, now, the primary key is your customer ID, agreed?
Yes.
So your secondary properties are the customer name, or it's a dog, right? So, no, you understand?
Yeah, I understand.
So customer name
Okay.
and, date of birth, and those kinds of things are what we call secondary,
Okay.
because they're not the primary key. They're any other field besides the primary key. We just call them secondary.
Okay.
So all the other fields.
For example, dynamic table, I need a secondary from.
You don't need one, but, we wonder why you're doing this if you don't have one.
Oh,
So let's see if you can think of one.
That will work.
See if you can think of one.
it's also
Can
been
you
on
think
there.
of one?
Right.
You see, in your composite table, what are the key fields?
I say compositing about the composite
Yeah, composite, what are the key fields?
key field.
Yes. The key fields, the fields that separate one record from another, that make this record different from all of the others in this file.
Yeah.
Which ones do you have for key fields? You have customer ID,
The customer ID
right,
and
and what?
the other one,
Yes,
instructor ID
instructor ID,
Yes.
and,
and
okay, remind me what your project is doing. What is it?
matching the dance team and dance instructor.
Dance team and dance instructor. Okay, so in the composite, you have the instructor and the dance team and the date and time. So, now, why are they having this meeting? Because he's training them?
Yes.
He's training them. So now, what you can have is he can evaluate them, good, bad, or very bad?
Evaluate for instructor.
He can rate them. The instructor can rate
Oh,
he can rate how well they did.
okay.
And you can also get attendance. Did they all come? Right?
Great.
He can also rate their, he can also rate their improvement. Are they getting better? So he can make a comment. Well, we can say instructor's comment. Instructor's comment, okay? And now, you can also say, next scheduled day. When are they gonna come back? When do they agree to come back? Huh? Or any other thing you think of. You see, we're thinking of information that you can keep in this table, because it belongs there. Because it's something that belongs to the visit, to the training session. All right, what room was it done in?
Oh,
What room was it done in, okay? Yeah, the room number for that visit. Yeah,
okay. Thank you.
you're welcome.
See you tomorrow.
Okay, all right.
Sir, I was just like 1 point probably, but I just wanted to know,
Let's look at this test here, we got the one room.
for number 26 on the test,
Yeah.
I put Connecticut, cause I thought,
Hey, I want that one too.
I just thought it was really weird.
Mine said
Number
that.
26?
Yes, sir. I just thought it was really weird, cause I was like, I thought it would be web etiquette, but I was like, when I looked at the answer on the test, I was like, what is Connecticut? I don't know what that is, but that's how I remembered, so.
Okay, that might be,
I don't know why they call it that.
okay. Now, your answer was
Connecticut.
Connecticut,
It's like the sentence in the book that I got the
and
answer.
it exists, right?
Yeah,
It
it says in the
says-
book.
It
Says in the
says,
book also?
has evolved to guide online behavior. Connecticut has evolved to guide online behavior. In the book.
Okay, and do you find anything for web etiquette? That's a quote from the book, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's not gonna get any worse than that then. Okay, so that's a misgraded problem. So I'm going to have to change my grading on that. You're absolutely right.
I thought it was weird.
No, you're absolutely right, I'm absolutely wrong. That's the improvement. So I graded that one too quickly. No question about it. Okay, that's one of your four.
Oh, yes, sir.
That's one of your
I
four.
got number 2.
If you find if you find more than 4 others, then we can talk.
Oh.
Oh,
But I don't want to challenge you to do that, I just want you to decide that this is a good way to cover those situations.
it probably
No.
wouldn't affect my grade really. I just like
No,
wasn't sure
'cause-
if I was wrong.
No, you're right, and thanks for telling me, because I'm going to have to change the way I grade that question, because I'm absolutely wrong. You're absolutely right,
It's
I'm
okay to be
absolutely
wrong.
wrong. So I'm going to change my grading template now. So does that
Can I
make
see
you?
what I made again? I
What?
don't remember it. Like an 87?
Hmm. Yeah, you got about that.
That one? Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
that's yours.
I thought it was Friday.
You thought you did better.
I thought the test was Friday, so I didn't study.
Friday.
I wrote in my book. I don't know how I made that grade, but I have very good short-term memory, so I guess that's how.
Well, it's a very respectable grade.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh my God, nice study.
I was having a terrible day that day too.
You may have studied, but you didn't do the trial test.
Yeah, I did. I just didn't write it in the book.
Oh.
I use paper.
Okay, well, I'm gonna change my
It's hard to
master.
study when you have the answers sitting
I
on the desk.
get
so-
it.
True.
I put
What's
the
your
answers on a
question?
separate paper.
It's like studying. it's
So
like
you're saying
doing-
that that's 26 on, what page number, please?
Jeez.
I found it. I found it. I'm gonna make the change in my grading master. That is a D. Thank you.
No problem, sir.
You too. Oh, you're doing well. I have another one.
Go, which one?
I put light bulb.
I know you did.
light bulbs.
They did use
They
light
use
bulbs.
vacuum tubes, but it's
That's
the
right.
same thing.
They're not are they the same thing?
You said it this today, you said light bulbs or vacuums are kind of the same.
That doesn't make it true. They did not use light bulbs.
Well, you used the analogy. Okay, I can't think of something. I have to think of some stupid company where I care about the customers, because everything else is just too hard.
You already did, you came up with two of them.
The drug one, there's no customers, and the other one is too cryptic. I can't really, everything's so cryptic because of the taboo. I gotta think of a new one, but I still do need a customers. Block. And I need a name. I know I need a date and time. And now I need an idea.
Yes, sir.
I have a question. How do you approach to the dynamic table?
How do you approach the dynamic table? Okay, let's solve that. Okay, come. Okay, here. Now you have customer, okay? And you have nationality, and what is this?
If they are family or not?
There are better ways to handle that, okay? You see, you have all of these choices, and this is yes, and this is elderly, and what is that?
Young?
Young?
Family or young couple or elderly couple?
So this is either this or that, right? They can't do both? Can they be both young and elderly? In other words, if this is yes, can that be yes?
Oh, no.
Right, so that's not the way to handle it then. What you do is, you have couple type, and the answer is young or elderly, okay? And what does this say?
Period.
What
Like,
does that mean?
Like some may visit with friends and
Oh, so they're coming with a peer group, okay? So now, if they have family, or can you answer yes here, then all of these no? Can you have two yeses here?
don't think.
That, so then you don't do it this way,
Okay.
you just have one entry, and that is type, and these are answer choices,
Okay.
and you can actually put them in a drop-down list,
Okay.
okay? So nationality, but now, here you have customer ID, true?
Yes.
But do you have customer ID over here?
No, that's why I asked you.
Yes.
this question.
Okay, so now I think you need some customer. Now, the trouble is, can I write here?
Yes.
Now, when a customer buys something in your store, he doesn't have an ID number, does he?
No.
So you can't track him by ID number. So, that means that there's something wrong in the design. Cause, what you wanna know is, who bought what, agreed?
Yes.
So all of these questions, they can go in this table. The nationality of the buyer and what kind of group they were in. That's a property of the sale. Now, so we don't have a well-designed project yet. We approved it too soon. Now, what is it that you could want to track? Let me pose a slightly different type of store for you, okay? It's not a store like in the BX, or maybe it is. It's not a store like in an airport where you only see person once. What you have are steady customers, people that come back, okay? So if a customer buys something new, then you enter them into your customer database. So you have a file of customers, true? And if they refuse to enter, well, we won't assume that, all customers will enter. So you have a table of customers, true? Now, So the customer has an ID,
True.
and they have a nationality, one customer. Now, all of these can go over here to this table, because they are, questions that are not properties of the customer, but they're properties of the sale. Because one time he buys something, he's with his family. Another time, he's with a peer group. Or another time, he's part of a young couple or elderly couple. But you want to know whether most of your sales are going to families, young couples, or elderly couples. But that doesn't give you 3 tables that you need for this project. So we just may have to fundamentally change your project, you see? So simply what you can do is go to customers and items that they buy, right? And then you would have one customer buying one item at one date and time. Okay, and I would forget about the elderly couple or others, because it doesn't seem like it would fit the project. Okay, so customers have their ID, you can have their nationality, and you can have their date of birth, their gender, male, female, things of that sort. And for your purchase, the items, you can have inventory number or whatever you do, and whether it's a type, a picture, or a sculpture, or what, and a name, and then the original price, an over negotiated price. Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Okay.
It's gonna be good.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, I'm ready.
Go.
I wanna know, why did I put, okay, I wanna know which, oh my god, this thing is written over. I want to know which. Oh, no, we'll just type this one. Okay, I wanna know which gangs control which cities.
Which who?
Gangs.
Which gangs control which cities?
At like specific times, like, cause they're, kinda like the Middle East, they take over, what have you. And it always changes hands, each city's gangs controlled by different gangs at different times and dates.
Okay, so roughly speaking, we have a go, but now let's get down a little bit more refinement.
Alright, you
So
ready?
you have a list of gangs and you have a list of cities. So
Yep.
your composite table would be one gang, one city, and what else?
Date, time?
Date and time they took control,
Yeah.
and,
It's actually gonna be so this is kind of maybe a question, like, there's always gonna be a start, but not always a finish. So is that gonna be 2 fields, or just one?
no, I don't know if you can finish. They just start, so when they start, you assume that, whoever used to be in control is now out of control.
Right.
By
So-
replacement.
Would I just not even have them on this because they've lost control and they have a control of,
It's automatic, right.
so it's just a
Now, the
date,
only
time,
trouble is
start date.
that it goes back and forth.
Right,
Now, this gang controls this city now, they get kicked out, they come back next week.
right,
So you got duplicate entries.
right.
No, they come back at a different time. No, so it's still good, yeah.
Yep.
That's good. Now, what kind of information gonna track as attributes about the gangs?
The only thing I
Size?
have is nationality,
Okay,
because it's always nationality based.
okay.
But they have more than one gang, or, yeah, one nationality can have more than one, I think. I'm assuming that one nationality can have more than one gang.
Sure database.
Yeah, so we're does now.
Okay, now also you have, cities have attributes, those are well-known.
I can think of it.
Locations, population.
Oh, yeah, But, okay, yeah, how do you do locations for a city? Like, that's the city,
Japan,
like the country?
yeah,
So just, oh, okay, oh, we can do it globally.
well,
Oh.
okay, so you just wanna stay in Japan,
No, I was
Okay.
just doing the States, but
all right,
we can do global.
okay. you
Because
can do-
otherwise it's like
No, no, you can do cities,
Houston is
okay,
Houston.
mafia stuff, you can do cities,
Yeah, yeah.
and you can do population,
Population, that's good. And I also did, for my composite, was murders. That's a pretty cool thing to do in games.
well, now,
Or is
that's not good, cause that requires updating.
Yeah, that's composite.
Yeah, but the composite, then you have to have a stop date. So your composite field is gonna be one gang, one city, and the day they took control.
Okay, yeah, we'll get that
And then what are you gonna have for your secondary attribute there, the number of murders?
on. Yes,
Murders what? When they were in control?
yeah, in the city, while they were controlling the city.
Yeah, but you don't know, you can't enter that until, yeah, okay,
It's a
well, when you do it,
continuous-
then you know they're out of control. So, I almost think you have to have a stop date. What do you think? You have to have a stop date, when they lose control. Cause they could lose control to law and order, there's not another gang that takes over.
Right. I was thinking the other way, that it would be that once they lose control from the city, that, I don't know, like the data would just fall off the chart, cause I don't care. Like it starts a new one, like once it's,
No.
the city is lost by.
No, you always need to be able to go back and see what happened before.
Okay, I see what you're saying, second.
So, yeah, start date, stop date, the day they lost control. Okay?
And that would be two separate composite entries?
Yeah, that would be, the four of them would be your key. Or actually, no, the first three would be your key. The city and the gang and the day they took control, okay?
Yeah.
And then a secondary field would be the day they lost control. And then you could have the number of murders in between. You could have a reason they lost control if you wanted to.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not doing that, it's over the road.
Yeah,
Always the
no,
same.
you got it, you got it.
You know.
It's a good, it looks good to me.
Cool.
I would say go ahead, off the record, I would say go ahead and start. Of course, your classmates might not approve it, but, it seems sufficient to me to go ahead and start. By the way, we do a study that, you might be surprised by. It has been studied, and it has been found out that in cities that have more churches,
Uh-huh.
they have more crime. Cities that have more churches have more crime.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It is crazy.
I heard something where like, some ridiculous percentage of wars are over religion.
Well, that's,
Insane
yeah, that's true.
amount.
That might be crazy, but
Like, I think it's
religion
like
is a
2
fundamental
wars on-
driving principle
Yeah.
of the way we're wired.
Big-
Just psychologists don't study it. They
Yeah.
leave it out, and it's sort of taboo, it's not talked about much. But yeah, it's a very strong driving force. But no, let me phrase it a little bit differently. Cities, cities that have more churches have more murders.
Right. Not religious, probably a good
Well,
thing.
no, this is a question that, that has to be analyzed. And the answer goes like this. Cities that have more churches because they have more people. Cities that have more
Oh, yeah.
people have more
Yeah.
murders.
Oh, that's pretty weird. You get sidetracked by the churches, it's like,
Yeah.
there's a reason there's more churches, cause
Yeah.
once one
Right.
fills up, they gotta build another one, so it's the more population. So is that understood by the numbers, or is that just like, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
you
Like, is
have
it
to mean,
like-
you have to say whether you're talking about total numbers or.
Right, is that demographically speaking,
Yeah,
or,
exactly,
or is
right,
that
yeah.
just overall?
No, it's just an illustration of how statistics can be misleading.
Right,
That's all,
yeah,
that's all it
that's pretty crazy, that is true. Cool,
is. Okay,
I think I'm ready.
hi.
I'll be here tomorrow, or no, not tomorrow, Monday. I don't have
You're not a
They don't have
workshop
a database for Apple. I've been looking not all week, the past 2 days, I looked up, they have a database, but it's for doing web pages. So I downloaded it and then I watched the tutorial, they're like, when you start a web page, here's it's not anything like this, access, I was like, this is wrong.
So you just may have to use the lab.
Yeah, but it's really weird, cause we have pages, or what do you have, Word, we have Keynote, I don't know what it's called for Apple or for you guys, and we have, Numbers, which is
Spreadsheet.
spreadsheets.
But I'm
Like,
sure
we have
you have,
3 out of the 4.
I'm sure you have a DBMS.
Yeah, well, like, that's what I'm like, how is it, it's 2017, nobody's
It can't be
looking for
possible,
the
it's not there.
database?
It's gotta be there.
That's what
It's
I'm
gotta
saying.
be there. But,
Yeah, I'll be on the lab on Monday.
and you're rich enough to buy it, I know that.
Yeah.
It's free. It's,
Okay. So you asked me to give you your worksheet, so I give you your worksheet.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Actually, I had a question about the test.
Yeah.
I think I was smart for one question.
You want to talk about one question?
Yes, I think I was right for one question, but
Which one? This one, 105? Typically, print speed is typically measured in A. Print speed is pages per minute. It's not dots per second. It's not pixels. It should be A. So I don't know why this person wrote it. I don't know why this is yours. But it's measured in pages per minute is the right answer. Okay? So did you write this?
no.
No, this should be an A,
Okay.
pages per minute. That's what print speed is measured in. Okay. So let me be sure that the grading master is correct on that. Let me see what page you're on, 13? Short test. Yeah, it's measured in A, so that was just miswritten. Okay, let's put it on that. So you got a pretty good score, because that's a solid, this is your score?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a B.
Yes.
It's a B. This course very hard for you because of language. I know that.
I'm not good at
Shoko the same, it's very hard, very hard.
I think I could get it.
I think so.
Yeah.
That's not a bad score. It's okay. Okay.
I just quickly make sure. Wanna make sure.
Okay.
I need to not try to hear. As
No, that's not true, because this field is what's called a sale. This is when you sell something, true? Now, you don't keep information in this field that you have to write more than once. Now, if this customer buys something and you have his nationality, the next time he buys it, he still has the same nationality, right? So the nationality is a property not of the sale, but it's a property of the customer. So it goes over here. So now, if you want to know his nationality, then you take his ID and you look it up here. So you do a lookup. So you don't need to keep it here because you can find it there.
I do not need this actual number per se.
Do what? We also, another problem, you don't want current stock here, because that's not a property of the sale.
Okay.
What you can have here, what you want here is a product number.
Okay.
You want product number. Okay, product number. So you want this field there and this field there. So it's tied together. So this table ties this field to this field. So you can use a report, you can use this table and you print this line, then you go and get his name and print it, you get his nationality and print it, then you use this and you go here and you get the name of the item and print it.
Okay.
So when you make a report, you can use these fields to find all this stuff and print everything in one report.
Okay.
That's how it works.
Okay. Do you think I need more secondary tab for each thing?
Yeah, well, here you need their name
Yes.
and date of name, maybe address, eh?
Oh, okay.
Name, address, and this is probably sufficient for this one.
Okay.
Okay, it looks good.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll see what your classmates think about it on Monday when you show them.
Yeah.
the work of those.
Okay.
We'll see.
Hope.
I hope so.